Okay, well, welcome to whoever's come live, and we're recording, and I will post this later on as a replay in your email and on Facebook. And so, yeah, big welcome to Hazel. It's so lovely to have you here. And I thought I would just let you introduce yourself. Most people in this room will know who I am already, but please.
Yeah. Okay, well, my name is Hazel Moore, and I currently live in England, and I've known...
Oh, hang on. I muted you, Hazel. I was trying to mute the others. Hang on. There we go. Can the others mute themselves? There we go.
Yeah, I think they're all...
That's bad. Sorry. Start again.
Okay. So, do you want to start again, or shall I just carry on?
Start again. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, everyone. I just want to say I love your name, Myra Popplestone. Isn't that lovely? I love it. So, okay, my name is Hazel Moore, and I currently live in England. I've known Sarah for a few years. I don't know. I met her in South Africa, and we got together I don't know if it was once or twice, can't remember now. But anyway, met her in the lovely Cape Town, which was beautiful. That was some years ago now. And we've just kind of ships that pass in the night on Facebook, you know. But then I got into my own wealth journey. I'm not talking about spiritual wealth or personal growth wealth. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about notes and coins and Bitcoin and Forex trading and money. Because to me, money is up there with air and water, because that's the system we're born into. And the system on this planet is that we use some sort of money. And for us now, in this day and age, it's notes and coins and digital coins. So this heading, Wealth on Earth, beautiful title. And we've got to have the whole cake. So we need spiritual wealth, meaning we need discernment. We need to be aligned with that higher consciousness so that that higher consciousness can work through us. That we, as humans in the physical body, we don't actually create it. It's done through us. And then we've got the money. Okay, so I prayed literally, well, I decreed really to be stinking rich. And that was about 5 years ago now. And as you know, when things work through us, it happens really, really quickly. And so I was introduced to Bitcoin all those years ago. And I tell you, it was like the Wild West. It really was. It was a roller coaster of a journey, you know, huge highs, really deep dips. But I learned a lot about human nature, and I learned a lot about the financial system on this planet that we all are forced really to take part in until now. So I spoke to Sarah, or rather Sarah approached me about a company, a platform that we are both engaged in now called CFX. And it's a Forex trading platform where the expert traders do the trading for us. And it brings to us wealth. It brings to us the opportunity to have real financial support every step along the way, so that we can go out into the world and fulfill that which it is we've come here to fulfill. Now, with Sarah, the lovely Sarah, I mean, she's successful in her own right, you know, as a coach, as a businesswoman, financially, she is successful. But with CFX, it's added another dimension for her now. It's a whole quantum shift in that it really is passive income. Yes, there's a learning curve, but it really is money while you sleep. So Sarah, let's talk about your journey so far with this company, CFX, that's come into your sphere, into your field.
Well, I never would have thought that I would be, you know, like looking into it, but I watched your journey, and you kind of came in and out of focus. And I was like, what's she doing now? And then I hung around in your group for about half a year or something. And I was like, well, I'm totally confused. I don't really know what this is all about. And then I just kept watching like people upgrading. So the same names, I'd see them again and again. And then I could see what you were doing on your videos. And I was like, this is like, sounds amazing. And I just started doing the research like you do, I started reading stuff. I started checking it out and going, wow, this is, it's like a revolution, a social, it's a movement, a revolution in the little people having access to systems that we never knew about.
It's the same as the Industrial Revolution. We're now in a digital revolution. So you're quite right, yeah.
And then, and yes, I would say my success is more just pure grit and determination and repetition. Like a dog with a bone, I'm not going to let it go. It's my mission. It's what I'm here to do. And many times I've done stuff that people find quite controversial to start with. And then eventually they get used to me doing that sort of thing. And then it's fine. But to start with, the other work I do, people were like, you can't do that. It's weird, And then you're like, no, I know this is right. I feel it in my bones. And I had that feeling with CFX. I was like, well, the people are all beautiful people. They're all supporting each other. They're all celebrating each other having wealth. It's not like there's no competition. It's like, yeah, everyone celebrates everyone. And I thought that was really beautiful. And yes, the success has been there, but it's also it feels when you're on the inside of Sarah Jennings, and I imagine many people in the wellness professions and healing professions, it's a real boom and bust thing. You work hard, something happens, it's great. And then you try and rest a bit and then the money starts running out and you have to do it again and again and again. And I found that was the dream that CFX kind of provides was a feeling of like, wow, I could create from a place of security and foundation rather than, oh gosh, I best do something. And that's a great creative push as well. I know that, but it was
higher reality, isn't it, Sarah? That's the higher dimension. If people are into competition, which is the old paradigm of marketing, it's the old paradigm. And when I say old paradigm, I mean everything up until today. So it's the old way, isn't it, of competition, push, 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 on it, on it, on it. What's your goal? Yeah. I cannot operate that way. That is just such a shock to my nervous system to live and work in that way, which is completely 3D. And I think that most of your audience understand that kind of language, don't they?
Yes.
Like 3D, it's collapsing in front of our very eyes. And now those of you listening into this, we are on that bridge. No doubt about it. We are on the bridge between the old, which is collapsing, and the new, which we are helping to ground and cement going forward. And of course, one of the first things that we need to do is get our money story healthy. It's not about working till you drop. It's never been about, trading your time for money, which healers and so on, you have to do, don't you? Because you have people come to you, you spend an allotted amount of time with them, and then you go on to your next client. Okay. And that is debilitating to me.
Yeah. And what happened, I'm on fire, or I love it when I'm in there. I'm like, this is what I'm here for. And it feels like floating through it, it's beautiful. Yeah. But there's an element of like, I have a lot of energy now, and I have had a lot in the last few years of doing this. But the thought of doing what I do now for another 20, 30, 40 years, I'm like, oh, something has to give, And the other thing that really touched me was, if something happens to me, like I can feel the emotion of that. I want to be able to provide my daughter a foundation as well. And even if I'm alive or not, she wouldn't have that if I just disappeared, So for me, that's
about generational wealth as well.
Generational wealth. So I want to have that. You see so many humans on earth have wealth, and they have legacies, and not all of it is built on values and morals that I would agree with or that are ecological. There's lots of stuff going on. You're like, okay, well, the money's in the hands of people that aren't always doing the right thing, but there's also money in the hands of people doing amazing things. And I know for a fact that every healer person, wellness practitioner, when you ask them what your big dream is, that's what I often ask them. they're like, oh, I want to open a healing center, a retreat center. I want to build an eco village. I want to have a this, that. So they all want to, they're not like going, oh, I just want a really nice car or something. They want to build beautiful things. So I would much rather money was in the hands of people that have a heart to help or to make things better or heal the separation and anxiety that is on earth, partly because of a money system that is not healthy.
Well, it's when you say partly, you know, it's all about the money system to me. But when we're talking about getting humanity, getting the help to humanity that humanity needs, humanity needs education. Someone's got to teach them, that's got to be paid for, as in that person that does the teaching needs to be supported with house, food, water, and all of that. So everything needs to be backed up by money. Now, the thing about CFX is our two CEOs, Oscar Lopez and Edwin Abad, they know that. They know that they have a calling, much like all of the healers and coaches and all of that on this planet. We have a calling, and so do our two CEOs, and they know that. They are extremely wealthy men, and thankfully, the money is in the hands of two really good people that are aligned with higher consciousness, and their mission is to bring humanity out of poverty. And their goal this year, it's a new company. So in the eyes of the old world, it's a startup company. They launched 2 years ago this July.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. But in the eyes of people like us who live in the now, it's nothing to do with being new, because we know this has been, deemed to happen. It's been foretold for centuries. So our two CEOs are aligned with the mindset that we have. Everyone listening to this, everyone that follows Sarah and is in Sarah's field of awareness. So that's the very first thing that really struck me. And as soon as I heard Oscar speak, I just knew, like Sarah said, I was tingling all over, and I thought, this is from the highest spheres, no doubt about it. So I jumped in just 2 months after they launched to the world globally. They'd already tested the system, which when you listen to Oscar, he will tell you that it was downloaded from God. He uses the word God. And the whole structure of the infrastructure of the business was given to him. And what he and his partner had to do was just, put it on the hard drive and sort it all out so that, they could cope with the scalability of it. Because in the first 20 months, we've got over almost 300,000 people, all around the world in this. And their goal,
that's 100,000 more than since I started.
Yeah, they're getting over 2,000 people a day are joining. Oh. Yeah, it's incredible. So you can imagine, can't you, with the back office and the technology, it's all got to keep up with that. The payment system, everything, the marketing tools, the website, it is massive, massive, and it costs a lot of money. So I have joined, and Sarah has joined. I'm not sure who else has joined already, but we have joined a very wealthy company. And you need a company with wealth. I'm talking about money now behind them, because, they've got to not only have the wealth to purchase everything, the payment system, all of the HTML, the algorithms, the bots, they own the lot. And that is unusual. They own the top floor, the penthouse suite in Panama, which is where everyone can go and take lessons in Forex trading and so on. So when we're looking at a company and joining it, we don't just want to look at that we get paid. Yeah, of course we want to get paid, but there are many platforms and programs out there where you will get paid for a short amount of time, but really they're just out to scam us. So you want to look at the wealth of the owners, and you want to look at their future idea of how they want the company to look. So the company's got to keep growing. That means it has to bring in new ideas, new projects, and the way everything's done. And we've got all of that. So let's come back a little bit to the kind of people that we're attracting, which is, you know, people like myself, people like Sarah. There are many people in my group, let's just talk about my group for now, who are aligned with our thinking. So we are really going to see millionaires, many millionaires this year alone, just from my group alone. And they are all wanting, yes, to have a really good life themselves of luxury and so on, but to let that money flow through them to help humanity. And that's what the two CEOs are all about as well. So, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here talking the way I am also if I hadn't proven it also. So that is all very well, isn't it? Having this higher consciousness flow through us, and we know one step at a time what we're going to be doing. So we join on faith, and then we learn through experience. I can trust this company in a really grassroots way, because you watch what they say, how they say it, but that they deliver what they say they will in the time frame that they say they will. So it's not all up here. It's not a dream. It's actually visceral, tangible. It's happening. And you'll know, won't you, that all of us that are of the light, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this. You know, I was born in 1952, and I started my journey at a very, you know, early age. And I've been waiting for 2021 nearly all my life. And here we are, because we've got the company, we've got the platform now to go forward without getting exhausted. Because you know, when you are working from a soul level, you know that fervent, I've got to do this, I've just got to do this, you know, but we can pace that now more. We don't have to worry about our rent. We don't have to worry about our children's schooling. And coming to what Sarah's saying, you know, all of us children and grandchildren, we don't have to worry that their lives are going to have to be balanced with financial struggle in lots of instances. You know, we've got youngsters in CFX. Well, my grandson, he's only 4, he's on a $5,000 contract. But to be clear, you have to get a sponsor, someone who is over 18 to sponsor them. So my grandson, by the time he's 8, he's going to be on that $100,000 contract. And so he's freed up before he even knows about money, you know. But as an aside, you know, I'm already teaching him. He gets on his tablet, I get on my computer, I show him the Forex trading, and I'm saying, this is how we earn our money. This is how we got the money to pay for that tablet and those new shoes you're wearing now and your school uniform. And he's already grasping it. And he's got his little, when we get an ice cream, you know, when I meet him from school, he's got a little rewards card, you know, he gets a stamp on it. So I'm already teaching him to be loyal. We're going to come here and we're going to get our ice cream from here. For a start, it's vegan ice cream. And we get a little stamp. And when you've got 5, you're going to get a free ice cream. And that's called loyalty. And then, because he's not going to know coins and paper, he's going to know Bitcoin and having a plastic card is, you know, so he gets my card, pays for his ice cream. And so we're teaching him already to understand loyalty through his money story, that he will get rewarded as well. He's buying good stuff for his body and all of that. And he's also, now we're teaching him the bigger numbers, because big numbers scare a lot of people, don't they, Sarah?
Well,
and so
ceiling was,
them. Yeah.
There has been a ceiling on, this is how hard you work for this amount of time,
Yes.
and this is the kind of work you can do when you've been educated at this level.
Yes,
and
yes.
yeah,
So it's the you go to school, you know, you go to university if that's what you want, you study harder, and then you're going to get hopefully a good job at the end of it. But it's no longer, that's not the new paradigm. We don't need a job, we need an income. That's what we need, an income. So you can't say we earn our money from CFX, it's an income. But, you know, not saying that people who've got a job that they love, of course we still need doctors and, you know, cleaners and all of that. but only if you love doing it. Because I'm sure robots have already been invented to clean the oven, for example.
Well, it's interesting because I've out of all the people I have already signed up to who've come into CFX, they're all people that wouldn't stop doing what they're doing, which I
They love it. Yeah.
They're chiropractors and people that there's no way they could just sit around and lounge around. They would be like, so they have a mission and a calling to be of. I prefer the word to contribute rather than service. But yeah, same, yeah, just like they have a calling, and I'm the same. I think I might just take a little bit extra time off here and there, but other than that, I think I'll still be, because for me at the moment, it's like my personal work legacy is trying to come out, but I can't stop working to get that out.
No, because that's your, as you say, it's your calling, and it's like, it's not even that we work at it, is it? We do it because it fulfills us and it's our purpose, and that's where we get our energy from, our passion. But you know, like myself, for example, you know, I've been a teacher of higher consciousness for over 40 years. But what I wanted coming into this decade of my life, you know, and after praying to be stinking rich, I wanted to combine the two. So teaching my people about their money story, you know, Sarah will know this as well as many of you will. You talk to people about their money story and loads of CRAP is going to come up. Because that is the fastest way to understand people's shadow side and to help them alchemize that shadow side using what they think is their money story. And a lot is resolved through talking to people about their money story, you know.
Well, I work a lot with people with the money story because a lot of wellness practitioners and healers, I call them healers, there is a lot of the history of our professions is pretty harsh, and we've been silenced, and it's been dangerous to work or dangerous to be public, and now it is possible to do that, but asking for money is also a strange sensation, feels unauthentic. Then there's loads of CREP. That spiritual people shouldn't charge for their work. It's like, well, we need to eat, and we need to be balanced. So there is a lot of limiting beliefs and stuff that is just not true that we have to kind of grow out of. And I think part of that is we are good enough and we are deserving. And wealth on earth is everything from smelling the roses to eating beautiful nourishment to sensing well-being and I belong here. That's all wealth on earth.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. And when you said that, you know, I just, you know, you saying that I belong here. I belong. What a lovely thing, isn't it? I'm tingling all over as I do that. Like, I belong here.
And I'm allowed to be safe.
Of, you know, sitting in this sitting room and talking to you guys. I belong. But but people, the thing as well that I've come to understand is that people in our kind of niche, if you like, let's just call it that, you know, they love to dig and dig and dig to the past, you know, let's go back to our ancestral lineage. And, oh, it must have been, you know, I know, for example, I've been put on a rack. You know, I know that from my own inner knowing, but I don't live that. I'm living now as Hazel. And I tend to say to people, stop, just stop. I have the solution. We're not going to go down that road. You don't need to dig and dig and dig. Your nervous system, which is what we're talking about, will be healed as you go forward, you know. And as you say, we all deserve abundance, money, but we were born into a corrupt system. You know? And you don't have to go into a past life to know that it's corrupt, for example, do you? You just got to watch a really good YouTube video on the history of money and you'll know. And, you know, we've had our eyes opened wide, haven't we, in 2020, 2021. That's what it was all about for the masses, you know, have your eyes wide open, and they are, you know, wide open. And if we live, if we don't, it's my own opinion now, if we don't take a good look at what is going on and our money story, you know, we're going to be at the best completely lost with what's going on this planet, and then completely controlled. And that is dangerous times, you know. And to me, this is what it's about for now, is opening people's eyes.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it just before we started recording. Well, what happened with me when I started listening to what you were saying and then checking CFX out, and how does it feel in the body? And it was like, wow, expansive, heart opening. And then several times, I can count 2 times like distinctly, that my entire field, energy field and tingling in the body, and like kind of like a hopping onto a timeline of don't need to suffer for my craft.
No.
I can be held through what I need to be offering, because traditionally the healers in the village would have been looked after, so it's a kind of like a you know, like can come back into that feeling. But yeah, it has felt like I've called it like sort of a turbocharged wealth frequency upgrade. Is how it's felt. Just like very expansive, and you just feel like a lot taller. Is how I tend to gauge it, is everything looks super clear, and you feel a lot taller, and things don't feel like they will be hard. Whereas before you're like, gosh, it's going to be hard, you know, and you're like, ugh. And then it doesn't feel like that anymore, which is quite amazing.
But to be clear to people listening, and you know, there is a learning curve, because if you don't know about Bitcoin or how to get it, we show you, we hold you by the hand to get Bitcoin and to understand Bitcoin and to understand just a little bit about the trading, that we have the trading done for us by expert traders, and it's done on the Forex exchange market. Not to confuse that with the stock market. The Forex trading market is massive. It's a $6 trillion a day market, far bigger than the stock market. It's recession proof because we are trading money in pairs. Like, so for example, if you go on holiday and you've got pounds sterling and you're going to America, you've got to change your money into dollars. That is trading. But our traders are doing thousands of trades a day with all of the currencies across the globe. So it's an art in itself. So that's what we're doing with CFX. We're not doing it. You can learn if you want to, because there are classes if you want to learn. I don't, because it is a craft, it is an art, and you're stuck in front of a computer screen, and it's not for me. But yeah, it is. Yeah, compared to the old, do you know, I can take a moment, Sarah, and just sit here as me in the now and just look in the past of the money, my money story. And it's like steel energy, metal compared to now, which is so beautiful and flowing and ease and grace. That's all I can say about my money story. So
I mean, are you going to talk a little bit more about your story? I was just wondering if maybe, because I think a lot of people are asking me like, oh, it's cryptocurrency, what, you know, and I think the media poo-poo.
We do have that Bitcoin element to it, because you have to deposit and withdraw in Bitcoin, but the trading is done in fiat currency. Fiat currency is everything but crypto, you know, dollars, sterling, Japanese yen, euro, all of the currencies in the world. But the trades are done with that money, not Bitcoin. Now, to me,
sorry, can you call that like an exchange? We use Bitcoin like an exchange wallet.
Well, just think of Bitcoin as another currency. Bitcoin is a currency, okay? And you have to trade your sterling or your US dollars on an exchange, which is much like a bank, the foreign exchange counter in a bank. But instead of that, you're going to go online to an online bank, if you like, that will give you Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, for your fiat currency. So you would attach your bank account to the exchange, okay, and it acts just the same as online banking. If you use online banking now, you will understand what I'm talking about. And you link your bank account to the exchange, you put, like, say, £100 to that exchange, and then you then trade that for Bitcoin. Trade simply means you exchange it. There's a certain way of doing it, which is very, very simple. So, yeah.
So I think what people are, because they're not sure maybe from what I've described, they were like, oh, is it trading Bitcoin? I'm like, oh, no, we're not trading Bitcoin.
No, we're not,
Yeah.
Sarah. No,
Exactly.
not with the contracts. Yeah, I don't want to. Well, we do have another product that we do trade Bitcoin, but that's nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But there are other opportunities within the same company to earn even more money. So, and it's not that, you know, when I say that, earn even more money, do you know, this is a caveat for me, Sarah. I now feel I've got to explain. So this is an old part of me coming to the fore, like to get even more money. It's like, you know, because my thing is to get a lot of money to help more people. But, and I had that little pinprick, even more money. Why do you want more money, Hazel? Haven't you got enough? You know, so there you go. Yeah, so we've got other products, but yeah.
So you were talking about, I don't know if you wanted to share more about your money story, or do we explain CFX, maybe?
Yeah, well, my money story is, yeah, I've been a spiritual teacher for many, many years. And so when Sarah talked, you know, about charging as, you know, a teacher of higher consciousness and all of that stuff going back, you know, to the 1980s, I did go through that and I thought, how can I charge for this, you know? And that was the pressure of those invisible societal pressures that come on us, you know, what people think and say. You know, we try to convince ourselves that it doesn't influence us, but it does at some subtle level. So it took me a long time, Sarah, to start charging. And even then I'd only charge like £10. And then one day I thought, what am I doing? People go out for a coffee and a cake, you know, and eat that and be happy to pay that. But, do you know, I still had this thing in my nervous system. I want to do this because people need it, not because I've got a daughter that I want to put through private school and pay my rent. That was the thing for me. And so then I took my spiritual business online quite a few years ago now. And the thing that I found that coaches do is they just keep putting their prices up to cover the higher expenses. You know, it's not so much that they increase their value, they just put their prices up, or they'll do group coaching instead of individual coaching. And to me, it seems, I'm not picking on the coaching field, but it's just an example. And then along came my money story. Like I said, that was my prayer. I want to be stinking rich. And now I do everything that I ever used to do for free. I don't want people to pay me anything. And I can't tell you the alignment, the healing that brought to my nervous system. It was like, it really was. And I am delighted that I can now fulfill my mission here on earth and not charge a penny. And if people want to pay me, they can donate to a charity that I give them to donate to, you know. And such a huge difference. So fast forward to my CFX journey, I joined August 2019 with $1,000 contract. And since then, which is about 20 months or so, isn't it? I've earned over $600,000 and I've not put another penny in. Now, I'm on the top contract, which is 100,000. I did that within my first year. And that alone, without me doing anything else, brings me $3,500 a week. So I could just do that and I could live on that very nicely, you know, just with myself. But that's not my calling. My calling is to share all of this, because I believe that if everyone on this planet had their own shelter, their own home, their own roof over their head, a little garden to grow flowers and vegetables, clean water, we all of us, every single one of us in India, Kenya, wherever, should have that. And we are bringing that to people already. I know people in Zimbabwe who, if you know anything about Zimbabwe, many of them are unbanked. They have to earn their money in US dollars. And if the people can't do that, they are literally dirt poor. And we have people in CFX from Zimbabwe who sold their farm tools to get into CFX, and they are now thriving, and they now share that with their fellow countrymen. And that's just one small example. And that's how we are shifting the balance of power with already hundreds of thousands of people.
You already, you told me, well, I remember you telling a story that there's like homeless people that are
Yes.
able, like getting together that very, the smallest entry fee is $300, which is about £210.
Something
then,
like that, yeah. It's
yeah.
about £240, I think. But yeah, and so they got together and they got one person in. But as well, lots and lots of people I know in CFX gift contracts. You know, I myself, I'm always gifting contracts to people, because to me that is, I'll teach you to fish.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you like $300, for example. I'm going to give you this and look after your money and start to understand it. So my journey was, I got onto that $100,000 contract, and just through sharing this on mainly on Facebook, on my personal timeline, you know, I've now got a team of over 2,500 people, which is small compared to a lot, but it's a lot to me. But it's just grown organically. And like I said, I've received, I can't even say I've earned it, as I keep saying, over $600,000 in that short time.
Wow.
So,
and it just gets better as well.
Yeah, just growing and growing. And, you know, my daughter is, you know, talking about generational wealth. My daughter is coming up to that $100,000 contract. We're getting her set, and my grandson, you know, and then you look after yourself, you look after those you love the most, and then you go out and you love and help the rest of the world, you know, in whichever way you are guided to do that. So that was in that short space of time.
Can I also just say, I just want to say thank you to you, because having you, like having signed up with you, I have felt completely supported. Just not put like you taking time on me, but just how you run your group, how much information you've put together, how much you communicate. Everyone, I think, is so thankful in your group just because of your energy and what you put in. It's like amazing.
Yeah,
it feels like,
you know, Sarah, with you, what you do, you're the same, you know. But yeah, it is about, it's taking care of people, whether that's helping them to get Bitcoin or helping them to overcome their blocks about money, which is never about money. But you know, I'm here to serve. Hashtag servant leader, you know, I'm here to do that. And yeah, that's it. I'm here to do that.
Same. And I've already, you know, there's a few of my friends that are, you know, like the struggling artist type, and I'm like, you just do this, like, and they owed some money, and I went, just put it in the thing instead.
They've got such beauty to offer, haven't they? A lot of artists and you know, extremely creative people, you know. Do it.
And as well, like a lot of the healer people that I support and I work with, a lot of their blocks to being visible with their work is the money thing. Partly one of the things is the money thing, and then the old past life thing and all the stuff. And to think that the amount of struggle that their body, their nervous system is going, like,
make the meal eventually.
So it's like, wow, if they could have that support, this supporting them, and then they are able to just slowly like come out of their shell naturally, without the fear of the money thing. Really.
And also, as you say, you know, we've got all these people. Let's just say, like in my group, they all come into my group, but we're all of the same mindset, and you've got that ready-made support system, not just for your money, but for the way you think, you know, everything. I'm really hot on you're not thinking correctly. That is your mindset, you know, all of that, which, you know, I take for granted that everyone that comes into the group is open to that kind of automatic coaching, if you like. We've got a question here from
there's a few questions, and I was just thinking that if we if we could just describe CFX first a little bit, do that thing. If we have time for questions, we can. I'll read them for you whilst you're talking, and then I'll let you know what the question is, so we don't have to. And then if we don't have time for questions, we're hoping to do a call Sunday morning for anyone that has loads of, you know, like rather than a presentation like this, it's more of a Q&A. Any questions you have and all that. Because if people are watching this recording as well, we'd rather, you know, it was focused on what we needed to come and say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So CFX, then, when you come into CFX, you purchase a contract. So the contracts have a monetary value, and the lowest contract is $300. It's about £240, something like that. So you purchase a contract, and the promise from the company is that they will double the value of that contract for you, and then that contract is complete. And then you decide what you want to do. Do you want to renew that contract and do the $300 worth of trading again for that to double? Or you can upgrade to a higher contract. And although you get the same percentage from the trading, obviously you will get more money because you've got a higher contract. So the contract doubles, let's just say, to $600. Now you have to withdraw that money. You can't just leave it there and then upgrade or renew. You have to withdraw it in Bitcoin to your Bitcoin exchange that I touched on very briefly. And we pay a fee for that. We pay 20% of the value of the withdrawal. Now that 20% goes back to the members. It doesn't go to the company. It goes back to the members to give out a share of what's called a forced matrix, that everyone gets a share of that 20%. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We have Word documents on all of this that you can read and really get to understand that.
They're in the files section of my group as well, and yours.
Yeah. So people say, oh, wow, 20%. Now that is not expensive. For a start, if you have a personal Forex trader, you will pay anything between 30 and 50% fee. They call it a success fee. So 20% is not huge at all. And it's what keeps the members in what's called a closed loop. So we don't need, in the MLM business building side, we don't need new people coming into CFX to pay the old members, because that would be a Ponzi scheme. So we all withdraw all the time. We're all paying that 20% fee. And unless you're insane, you're going to come back in and carry on doing those trading returns, because you've got to be insane not to, or there's something wrong with your mindset, which is insanity, isn't it, after all? So that's the way it is. So you buy a contract, that contract doubles, you withdraw it all. So your initial 300 and the profit, the 300 that has been doubled. So you've got 600 now. 300 of it was yours, and you've made $300. And you withdraw the lot. You can renew or you can upgrade. A lot of people, you can upgrade beforehand if you want to, because obviously the objective is to get to that top contract, which is $100,000. And there are lots of stepping stones along the way to get to that $100,000 contract. So what some people do is they join with the $300 and they use that as their pension pot. They just leave it there. It takes about 5.5 years, to get to the 100K without putting any more money in.
But just to clarify, you have to pull out and then reinvest to get to the next one.
Yeah, but but
leapfrog.
We would show you all of that. But that's the essence of it. So some people do that. Like me, I couldn't not share this because everyone needs to know about it. And so I've shared it. So obviously I get commissions on the networking side. So there's 3 parts to CFX. You've got the e-learning academy, which is you can learn to do the Forex trading yourself. You can either do that online, or you can fly to Panama and you can take the lessons live if you want to. There's room for 150 students in the offices there. Okay, so you can do that if you want. And people are going to be doing that. And I know people that have gone to Panama and gone to the headquarters and so on and so forth.
I heard it was university accredited. Is that true?
Yes, by the Ministry of Education in Panama. Yeah. The reason it's in Panama, there's 2 reasons. One, our CEO, Oscar Lopez, he funded the president of Panama's presidential campaign. So obviously, they're friends. And so he decided to have his headquarters there. And also Panama is a really good financial haven. But we're not talking about corruption. We're not talking about black market or anything like that. Every country, every government, every banking institution's got a bit of corruption to it. So, let's not go down that road. We use what we've got. You've got to be in the system and use the system on that bridge that I spoke of so that we can get out of it, because we're not out of it yet. So I hope that makes sense about Panama. So we've got the e-learning, that's one part. Then we've got the trading, which you can just buy that contract and enjoy the returns.
Which take 5.5 years to the 100K. Yeah.
Yeah. And but some people, as a caveat, some people come in. I had 2 people yesterday come in with $100,000 straight away. And, you know, so they're on that 3.5 grand. That's what they wanted. That was their money strategy to do that. And I know people that have got pension pots, you know, 50K or more, and they're getting a pittance. You know, they're lucky if they get £10 every 3 months on that. You know, don't quote me on that, but it's very little, you know. And on 50,000 in CFX, let me just quickly tell you what you would get on 50,000 from being in CFX as opposed from a bank. On 50,000, you would be getting 6,160 a month, approximately. So you can see that if you had that in an ISA or a savings account, you wouldn't get anything like that. You just
no, you wouldn't.
It's shocking. So you can
some people stay. Some people stay at the 50K, don't they, or 70?
Yeah, and you can just keep renewing that and just stay like that and have that as your income, you know. But you've got to work out your money strategy, which we would help you to do. You know, you would come to Sarah or me and you would say, look, this is what I've got, this is what I want to do. How would I go about that? You know, I'm just giving you the basics today. And then the third part of CFX is obviously the networking, the sharing of it, where you can earn bonuses on when people come into the business. So for example, with those people that came in yesterday with 100K, which was a real surprise to me, straight away I got 15,000 on each 100K. So that's 30,000, you know, because we get we generate commissions on those, which yeah, what can I say about that? There's a Word document that I suspect Sarah's got in her group on how the commissions and the rewards are outlined, you know. So I think I've covered essentially the 3 parts of CFX, the trading contracts. The contract is it's doubled. And of course, a contract means it's 2-sided. The company promised to double it and you promise to keep your money there until it is doubled. If you should want to take it out earlier, you forfeit 30%. So, you know, a contract means it's 2-sided, but some people want to take their money out for whatever reason. And if you decide to do that, you forfeit 30%.
So can you explain what happens? So the question was basically, how do you manage your money, and what, when you get to the 100K, do you have to put money aside to keep it?
Well, you keep renewing. When you get to the 100K contract, so that's going to be doubled to 200,000. Okay. And you would withdraw all of that. You'd pay the 20% fee, which means you would get your initial 100,000 back plus 60,000, because you're taking 20% off, remember, when you withdraw it. So you get 160,000 back. So you put 100,000 back in to renew that contract, to start the process again. So you get another 60,000 net. So currently I'm doing that 2.5 times a year. If you just trade, I think you can do it 1 and a bit times a year. Can't remember the exact timing on that. So you would be getting well over 60,000 net
just for the trading bit.
Just for the trading.
But then you're also earning from when people
the commission
their packages.
Yeah, and you get that as well. But I was just doing it on the 100K because the question here is, do you keep all your money in there until you get the 100K? I don't know. I withdraw my money every week and I put it into Bitcoin and I diversify with that. But that's another story. That's not part of what CFX, that's up to you. But I do share what I do with my money and how I protect my assets. So I go into sharing all of that as well, but that's beyond this chat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just important that people know that they have access to their funds every, like the gains that they make on trade and the referral fee, it kind of lands on the weekend, and then you are free to take out that money if you want. or let it sit there until you're ready to upgrade the next package. So it really depends on how you want to manage it and what you want to do. But if your aim is to leapfrog up the packages, then it's worth kind of holding on to that till you can go up to the next. So I started on
treat
5.
it like a bank. Yeah, just treat it like your bank.
Yeah.
And you can leave the money there and you can watch it compound and grow every week, or you can withdraw it. I withdraw mine and I put it into Bitcoin because I do other things with it. But the person who introduced me, for example, he just leaves it all there until it doubles, and then he withdraws it and then he does it again.
Yeah. So, because the question above that was what have I earned with it or received? And so I started with a $5,000 package. I just thought, I'll skip the lower ones just and get on the ladder. And that was January 10th or something like that. And then since then, yesterday or the day before, I upgraded the 15K package. So I very quickly jumped up in the last couple of months. So I've actually
Was that any more of your own money though, Sarah? Between five? No. So you jumped up with sharing the opportunity, really.
Yeah. So the first person that signed up with me put in 20K. So I got instantly I moved up instantly to the next package, the 7K.
Yeah.
And then the 10, and then now I just did 15 yesterday.
Yeah.
And so that means that my initial 5 is in that, yeah. And then so I've made an extra 10, and that's quite amazing.
5 months you've made 10 grand. Yeah.
I mean, I obviously am not touching it and I'm not spending it because I've put it back in. So I will start, being able to access or use those funds when I get to the 100K. So my aim is just to get to 100K, however long that takes. And I think it's important to say as well, what I love about your style of sharing this, and hopefully people feel the same with mine, is I've done one post and I have a group where I've invited people that I think, people have known I'm starting to open my eyes to, understanding Bitcoin and trading and blah, blah, blah. So they already knew that I would be sharing something. But the thing I think is so beautiful is that you don't need to push or sell. It's a share. It's like, okay, well, it'd be rude for me to keep it to myself. I'm just putting together information that Hazel's put together as well. And I think it's so important that people take a moment to do a bit of research, watch, even if you just sit there for 6 months like I did. I mean, I kind of not regret, but I wish I'd gone a bit faster in a way. But I think I needed that time just to really suss it out and learn a bit more and see what's really going on, so that my nervous system could be like, no, this is a no-brainer, and I feel great about it. So I keep telling people, don't put more, put in what you would not, if something happened, you wouldn't cry. Just put what you can in, and then let your nervous system regulate there, and then also examine all your money stories, because that's so incredible what happens when you start looking at the money story. What comes up, all the word, the sentences that you might have heard as a child, or the fear happens. And it's a great tool, like a lens, to start working on that stuff. So yeah, there's no need to push or sell. It's not.
I don't think people like us can do that. I've never been able to sell anything, and I really cringe at it, and I just can't do it. And I'm sure most people listening to this can't either. We can share because that's our nature.
You're not pushing products that have to, you're actually just saying, look, you can put your money to use, and then access more wealth that you can use in whatever way you want. It's not like a thing you have
to. It's a product. There's no subscription. There are no hidden fees. You've got to buy this every month. You haven't got to have what's it called, like auto ship and keep stuff in your house, and none of that.
And you don't even have to tell anyone if you don't.
No,
you can just trade
and trade. Yeah, and learn about the money on this planet that so many people are ignorant of, and face your own money story, really.
And I think something that's stuck with me, because when you start learning about this, suddenly everyone's talking about, or you hear it everywhere. And when you told me stop following shiny objects, I think that's because you were like, just concentrate on this, because it's it's got a real foundation behind it, and it'll grow, and then it repeats once you're up the 100K. So then
it's plug and play, isn't it, Sarah? It's plug and play. We've got the roadmap. There is no, and to me, you know, and I'm sure you're the same, you can only really concentrate on one thing and do one thing properly. Then when you've got that under your belt, then you can add something else to your, you know, what is it, irons in the fire. You know, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we're coming up to an hour, so it's probably like the time. And so what I'm thinking is, I just want to do, well, we said we'd do a question answer call. I just want people to have an opportunity to watch this first before then asking the questions. So thinking Sunday morning, but some people can't make that. And but we'll see what we can do, and then I can always jump on a call with people. And I think the important thing is, whoever's watching this, is that if you have heard about this from me, then you come to me. If you've heard it through Hazel, you go to Hazel. And
no, you go to Sarah. This is Sarah's group.
Sarah.
There's no, this is for Sarah. You know, and Sarah's people. You know Sarah. So, and if Sarah wants to call on me to leverage me, you know, to be on a group chat or, you know, to answer questions, then, you know, I'm more than happy to jump on these types of calls.
Yeah, thank you. No, I really appreciate your you seem to have infinite patience for all the questions. Yeah. And
well,
and I think the part of it, well, the way I work is I'm very direct and quite blunt as well.
Yeah, you are. I love that about you, Sarah. I really do.
Yeah, and I think it's important to do a bit of research before asking loads of random questions. I think that's because I'm in my Facebook group that's dedicated to this. I've actually set up a step 1 to 11, which is like a quick whistle stop tour, some of the corporate, you know, the official videos, a little instruction, and then it shows you some examples and the spreadsheets, and you just search step 1 to 11 and it tells you pretty much all you need to know before you ask loads of questions. And then I also have a video that shows you how to set up a wallet, how to set up a wallet, how to pay for a packet, how to sign up. It's all like a 20-minute video that just takes 2 of my friends through it, but you can watch it basically. And I've actually had the lovely surprise of a couple of people signing up without me even knowing, like they watched the video and they did it, and I was like, woo, great.
That's what we mean, isn't it? You can do this in secret if you want to, you know, and it is a case of, you know, just come in with the $300 contract, have an experience of it for a couple of weeks maybe, then you can upgrade, you know, and you learn to understand what you're getting into more, because it's going to be quite new to so many of you. So, you know, really, I encourage you to take that leap of faith with $300. Learn about CFX. What I mean by that is your back office, how the trades work and so on, and just enjoy the returns that you get. And then you'll see, if you want to share it, you can. And if you don't want to, you know, just enjoy your trading returns.
Yeah, and enjoy the quantum.
All of it. Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is quantum shift on the, you know, the ecosystem on this planet. We are in changing times. It's here now. And, you know, Bitcoin is the future. I've got no doubt in my mind. Bitcoin is going mainstream, you know, and that's why the big banks, they demonized Bitcoin, NatWest, and all the big banks nationwide, all of these corporations in the UK and across the world, they demonized Bitcoin, and now they're all investing in it and bringing out their own digital coins. And I want to just end here, because this is important. When banks, the high street banks, bring out their digital coins, that is not cryptocurrency. That is an extension of what we've already got, you know, the pounds, the paper and coins, and they will still control our money, because the minute you put money into a bank, the bank own it.
And they trade it.
And I had someone who had their account shut down because they wanted to buy Bitcoin. So we are in dangerous times. And if you don't know, with large sums of money, which you will all get into once you've joined CFX eventually, the more money you have in your bank account, the higher up you get flagged till it gets to the top, and you will have certain people ringing you about your bank account. And I've experienced that myself. So we are in challenging times, and we've got to be one step ahead.
So is there a way of, I mean, if people just heard that, they might be like, oh God, shut down.
put that out there, Sarah, because that is the truth of it.
Mm.
That is the truth of it. And if people have got an anxious nervous system and reacting to what I've just said, take a step back. Take a step back and understand the system that we live in, because we live in a system. Planet Earth, the humans on it have devised a system, we're all in it. If you can't open your eyes to that, then, that's where you've got to start.
And I have heard that people have tried to open a wallet and then they've had to ring the bank because the bank won't let it. And then it's sorted. Then they're like, no, this is real. I want to buy some Bitcoin, and they're like, they can't really tell you that you can't.
No, that was just, I was talking about what is happening, because, the message I want to get out is, let's do this and let's do this now. Because everyone in your group, Sarah, is part of the pioneers that we are changing the way this planet operates. And so many people of the light, healers and all of that, they talk about this all the time, and now we've got to do it.
I mean, you can't create the new Earth with no money at the moment.
No, you can't recreate it with just visualization either, or prayer. We've got to do it.
Action.
We need it all. We've got to do it. Action is the most important thing.
And patience and repetitive action. If things don't work straight away, it's kind of normal. You don't know what on earth you're doing. It took me 2 weeks to open a wallet, and I just keep this. It's like grit. It's just like it'll work eventually.
As you say, it's just like grit, and now you're this pearl, and you know how to show people how to do it. Sarah was she'd send me a message, and I'm here now and I'm stuck or whatever, and you've got to persevere, and keep going. It's not difficult.
Once you're in,
no.
It only hurts because your brain didn't know what it was, and then it's easy.
That's right. Well, we're opening up new neural pathways, aren't we? Because this is a new way of thinking for a lot of people, and a lot of people are scared of, or very nervous of the technical side. Oh, if I click the wrong thing, Some people are very click happy, aren't they, Sarah? So it is, take your time with what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having this call this morning, and thank you for those of you who signed up to watch it, and I'll email it to you, and I'm sure I'll put it on Facebook as well. And I'm coming out of the wealth cupboard. Thank you. It's been lovely to talk as always, and everyone's saying thank you in the group, so that's nice. Thank you. Do you want to say any other parting?
Just do it. Get in touch with Sarah. If you've got any more questions, Sarah will answer them, or I'll jump on a call with Sarah. But honestly, I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't know it to be true. Do it. Yeah, and I've seen your back office in one of your videos, and it's not like you're making it up. I've seen the money, and it's like, wow. There is wealth on this planet for everyone, and it's about joining in with the expansion. We can all get into that fear and contract anytime we like. I could walk out my front door and say, oh, I'm scared to walk out, or I can say, what a beautiful world. There's wealth for everyone on this planet. That is not airy fairy. That is not make believe. That is true. Because if you understand quantum physics, you understand that the more we expand through joy and happiness, and everything is good and going well, then the whole universe expands, and God itself expands. The minute we contract through fear and doubt and conflict, the universe contracts. That's how it works. And I felt that what you just described is exactly what's happening in the last few months for me. I can feel such. And then you've got to learn to pace and embody that, which it's another ball game. But there you go. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing, and I'll send the recording out very soon. Thank you, Hazel. Lots of love, everyone. Take good care. Bye.